Alright, build those cameras. Just put them up on tripods, get them going. I'm gonna have one of you guys shoot, but I'm going through the menus, so I'll have one up here. We'll have two that you guys can kind of follow through with. To start out with. Then we'll get to the lighting after that.
Wait a minute. What? I was stressing for nothing. Why? They're not hard to make. They're just you want.
Tuesday by 9 a.m.
Yeah, that's just to keep us on track. But I remember reading a thing that said, oh, they're not hard to make. That's nice. I'm not sweating at all.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's because I'm helping you set up.
I would
Lord
still
knows
do
you can't
that.
let you do everything by yourself.
You know, I'm who freaked out about
Yeah,
not
that's
having my phone.
I wasn't freaked out until you did it. You're the one who's out here
What
paramedic
about
stuff
it?
fast.
You said it.
Because none of you were responding to me. It was the first text.
Versus when, though? When
Oh, yeah,
did it
when
all
did-
end?
Still, I need to keep you.
No. You said that
Oh,
where's the rest of that?
Oh, you, I don't get paranoid. Is
Oh,
the-
where's the,
Right, that's why I'm like.
it's in the side.
Yeah, it's right here. Oh, that?
Yeah, he said. I remember reading
Oh,
that
no.
those weren't for 2 days.
I already did all those.
I have.
I just wanted to get it.
Why did you?
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Maybe a little short is too tall for you to be sitting.
Hold it.
You're killing me, Shannon.
That's how I feel about LeBron.
Maybe that side.
Okay, so you can't get on there yet because someone took the thing away from me.
I need one of them up here.
Okay.
So you guys, and one of these will shoot this one.
Okay.
And the other ones you can kind of gather around and look at the menu. This is the menu system. Camera that's a little bit
Is it
different.
a little?
Oh, yeah.
You need a plate.
I'm lying.
Oh, never do it that way. Never, ever do it that way.
Timing, you're killing me.
Believe it.
Plate always goes on, so you know it's secure.
Guys, Hank looks so cute this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the camera that's gonna be in front?
Doesn't matter. Oh, sorry. Unless you want to.
He's not gonna want us to move it if the camera's already on it. So. But you
Here's
didn't.
how much we yours.
No.
Whatever, anyone that has the.
Okay. Where do you want it, Gary?
Right in front, right in here. Maybe like no more like here. Or maybe wait. Whatever. We need to put. Don't ever.
He did that.
Don't put the plates on the camera.
Yeah,
You
take
need
it
to
off.
put them on the tripod and the camera goes on that.
Get it together.
Batteries here?
Everything's locked.
So if you guys can do that, they should all be over here, cause one has to shoot mine,
Oh.
and the other one has, you guys should be looking at it. Or over there, you guys could move that one down, cause as I'm going through the menus, you guys are gonna wanna go through the menus too.
It's my wrap. Go back to Florida.
Where is it? Wayne? Is it Wayne?
Yeah,
The one that.
that's ready to go.
We need some of this.
Oh, goes around the bottom. Okay. What is that? Here's your arm close, you just take your arm back. Yeah, I was gonna-
Not a slayer. He said not. It's not.
That's even better. That's
Dream
not
work. Thanks for dream work.
That is bad as play view.
Yeah, tell me about it. You guys can lower them if you wanna sit in your chairs, that's fine with me. But everyone should have a camera of your own. I know there's only 2 of those, but I need this one for you.
Whatever.
That's better than I get to sit.
I actually I had to raise the thing, and then you guys said we don't have to, so.
Exactly. What are you doing, bro?
I don't know.
This chick.
I got my class.
Leave these labels on.
I was like, chill.
That's nervous.
Really not.
I'm gonna leave that camera up there,
I'll
you guys are
bully you
just gonna
anyway.
have to shoot and take notes.
Your anxiety pissing me off.
This
That's a red flag.
500, yeah.
It's so itty bitty.
Okay, Robin.
So that happens when you have people that don't know what the computer is. They're labeling this.
Mhm.
See, it's supposed to be 208, 209, or 108, 109, and 110 are supposed to be these
I'm the
cameras.
last person to be offended by being called.
This says
before.
109,
When the
this
guy in
is a
relationship with
500.
One person I really had a relationship with.
Four card slots.
And I love that.
That should be
that's what
going
you
out with
clarify.
the
You're
So
not
I will
being
take
mean.
that one from you.
It's not coming for anxiety at all. I don't apologize for that.
Okay, so yeah, actually that's a lot better. I'll grab the battery.
Yes, turn this
So
turn this
that
one around.
PNC needs to go into the back of that camera in the SDI.
This?
Spigot.
Oh, look at Hank.
In case you don't know, SDI
I miss you.
is kind of like HDMI.
Uh-huh.
SDI is a digital signal cable. It also carries audio with it, so it's not just video. It carries information and audio. So when you see these little SDI things, it's actually got a lot of information besides the picture. So you can still have audio.
Nice.
Does it say SDI?
SCI, right.
Look about here. If it's not there, it's gonna be on the side. Wait, does it have? Oh, right here. Sorry, this is a different camera. Right,
Ah.
SDIO.
Alright. Oh, it's DI.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's an interesting acronym.
And you notice these are newer model ones?
Mhm.
Roger, what are you doing? Don't sleep in class.
Come on, bro.
These are new model ones, so they also have HDMI out. Remember, these ones do not. Not that that really concerns you guys, but there's sometimes when you may want to take out a external monitor,
Yeah.
you know? Or you could also have it on a stand next to you. You can also, you'd have a bigger display than what's just in your eyepiece or your.
You can do it with a computer too?
Yeah?
I just seen them, that's what I'm just asking.
I mean, then you make sure your computer would have to have an HDMI in. A lot of times they're just out of the computer.
Capture card.
Right. You should have that fired up and,
Ready to go.
you got a battery on it?
Yeah.
Good.
Turn it on.
So we'll kind of go through just the differences of these. Like I said, there's a good chance that you're going
Oh.
to. There's a good chance, so you're gonna have to actually work that camera by shooting this. And in comparison, if you wanna look at these, this one's our oldest Panasonic model, so it doesn't look exactly like the ones you guys, but it's pretty similar. It's got all the same switches. A little bit different menu driven, but it's for the most part, it's similar to the ones you guys have out. This is a little different. So you can just show the bottom of this, go all the way in. You're gonna open your iris up.
Looks great.
Open that iris.
All the way to the back.
That should know where the iris is by now.
It's early.
I don't care if it's early.
Right
Just
there.
saying it's early.
Keep going till
The
it's.
first one here today.
Well,
The other way.
that's really great.
This way?
I was not.
Oh, there we go.
I don't go to sleep before midnight every day too, so.
It's all the way up?
What are you talking about?
That's it?
If this is it, let's make sure that we don't have any of this in, and we're just gonna throw a little game,
Oh, nice.
okay?
That's the preset.
You don't see that now?
More gain, more noise.
We're getting more noise, but I'm not gonna add a light right
Right.
now for this, so we'll just use gain, cause it's for
Nice.
teaching purposes only.
Sorry, yes, sir?
You wanna type on mine?
Okay, all this is pretty much the same. We got display, we got our gain, we got our output, we got our white balance, blah, blah, blah. Same in the front, lens should be the same, right? Here is the ND filters, same thing. Here's our monitor. What does our monitor do? volume in your headphones. Which, was it one of your teams that called in last week and said there's no audio?
Well,
Because you didn't cover up. Luckily it was something simple like that. It does have a couple, so this is totally different from your other ones that you've been taught. However, this also here, you have P2 and you can write on SD cards on these new ones. Okay, so we still have our P2. If you get in a pinch, you can put in an SD card. The top slot is not for recording. The top slot is for a profile. So, what a profile is sometimes if you're shooting things, you want your camera set up exactly the same every time. You would put it on an SD card, you pop it in there, you load your profile, boom. Sometimes I have companies send me just the SD card. When I'm shooting, they might be from California or something like that. They want it loaded, they want it the same way, so I'll just put it in there, load the profile, boom, my camera is exactly like theirs on the West Coast. Only it doesn't smell as much like weed. I take that back unless you guys had it out the night before.
So they already know who.
So, same thing, you know, as far as the card goes. Here is where we're gonna have a difference. Let me just fire this up. So this is now, instead of all those switches that we had, you know, for like, our time code, for where do we put our inputs for our audio, in back or rear, channel 1, channel 2, all that, that's now driven by a menu. Kinda sucks, in that, you know, to have a physical switch and say that's in the position it should be, this one you have to kinda hunt and peck a little bit. This is kind of the same, in that here's our arrows, here's our thumbnail, here's our select, so this is actually the same as the ones that we had in here where we'd select. I think I can put this out of here. This one's too old. Anyway, where we'd have all this stuff, it's all gonna be in here. I'm not sure what this is, let me take a look, okay, that's going to be for communicating with other systems. So, let's look at this thing here. It's a little weird, but once I kinda go through it, hopefully it'll make sense. You'll notice there's green, right? You'll notice there's a green home button, right? So if I press home a couple times, it goes through, it's telling me how things are set up. So right now, I know that my time code, TCG, is 4 hours, 003902. We're in drop frame, DF, right? Everyone know what drop frame is? Drop frame, video is really not 30 frames a second. It's 29.97. I know, my boy, huh? So, in the broadcast world, if you were doing 30 frames a second, you would go over. You know, so if you bought exactly 30 minutes, and you let that run for 30 minutes, it's gonna be like 30 minutes and 10 seconds or something like that. You pay for 21 seconds, you want it to be exact. So drop frame drops a frame every few seconds to get it back in order, you know? Yes?
Is that something you're also able to do in editing?
Yes.
That's what I, okay.
In fact, if you shoot a drop frame, you should probably set up your project in drop frame.
Okay.
Right now, it's not that big of a deal because you guys are just learning to edit. So no big deal. Drop frame, and it's also saying I am in record run. You all see that up there? Okay. Time code, record. And that's media, I don't have a card in here, so it's telling me how much media I have left. But I don't have a card in there, so there's nothing there. Battery's full. Now here's it's telling me the audio information. Channel 1 is in the rear, channel 2 is in the front. You can see channel 2 moving, right? Channel 3 and channel 4 in the front. So this is just giving me an idea of what everything's set up as. It's not changing anything. If I hit home again, it's gonna talk about roll and pitch. We don't need to know that. Channel 1 and channel 2, that's your main channel, so here is my audio. Yeah, you might as well stay here because it's where we're gonna be for a while. If it's in a weird angle, let me know, I can change it.
That's
Much better.
Yeah, that's much
Focus.
better. Focus it, please. Ah,
Perfect.
beautiful.
Yeah. I'm there.
Oh, 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 oh.
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 Hey,
Walk away,
Oh, you
look.
lost it, you lost it.
Right
There you
there.
go.
Stop touching it.
Perfect.
Well,
I'll
that's
talk to
so
you.
much better.
I know, right?
Okay, so, we know what this is, let's go through home again, tell them all this kind of stuff, I hit home again, don't worry about roll and pitch. Here's my channel 1, channel 2, this is the best way to kinda, that's the only ones you're really concerned about for audio. So this is a good way to monitor the audio once you're at home. So, let's go into a more advanced menu here. You're gonna notice that these buttons are gonna start to line up with stuff that comes on the screen. So first I'm gonna go to setup, I'm gonna go to setup. So right now I'm at setup, and it's saying, okay, here's where I can change my stuff in here. So if I want to change my time code, I can do that. So I would go to time code, and, second, user bit, time code. Hold on a second, I have.
Betsy, what are you doing? You're pressing like
Just a
every
second
button.
there, set. Time code, see the set?
Yes.
Time code, I wanna set my time code's highlighted, set my time code. This button that says rewind, take it away, we're not in the green anymore, we're in set, so I go to set. You can see that this is highlighted. If I want, I can go up to reset, boom, now it's all zeros, right? And now, if I wanna go over, I can go over to 1, this is the arrow that points this way. And now I can go up and down, right? Go to hour 3. And then I hit set. That's how you do your time code. So, again, if I want to do my time code, I have to go to set. I can move it down, I can reset it, and once I'm done, I wanna hit set again. So you notice that this is a plus and a minus, so that's gonna raise the numbers or lower the numbers as we go. We are in record run, if we wanted to change it, we would go to free run. But we don't want free run. Okay, good with that?
Yeah.
You guys can all practice once I'm done. Okay, next, let's go to setup again. And this is telling me, what our monitor is set up as. It says set O2, monitor out, select, that kind of stuff. We're at 1080i. All this stuff you probably will never have to worry about. Should be set up. Again, here's our monitor out setup. Do we want our characters on? Do we want our output on? Yes. Do we want our zebra to come on? So this one will actually show you the zebra on an external. So all these are on, either on or off.
So when you say that when they show the zebras on the monitor, so you can't see like that, not that camera, but the other one where you can see from the little monitor, you can see the zebras on
Well, you
there?
can see it on this monitor, but if you do an external monitor, remember how like when I was showing you on the big screen here, I couldn't show you the zebras?
Right.
Because it wasn't outputting the zebras, they couldn't. This one can. Ooh.
She loves zebra.
Set up again, all this kind of stuff is kind of really engineering stuff that you really don't need to know much. So here's a backlight, here's our contrast, this is for our LCD screen that's in our viewfinder. So if I'm looking here, and I want to change the contrast or the backlight, like I said, don't worry about that. And then we're back to the original, screen. So when you guys get a chance that I get off these, peck through the screens, that's basically, there's more than one screen, and that's what kind of gets it. So, this is really the only one you're gonna use for the setup, and that's gonna be where your, time code run and that kind of stuff. This will all stay the same. Okay, let's go to audio. So I'm gonna go back to home just for the hell of it. I think I can go from setup right to audio, I can. So here's audio, it's showing me the 2 levels. We don't have volume controls like this now. We have little buttons we have to push. So if I wanted channel 2 to be higher, I would have to increase it here. And you can see this thing here is growing. Same thing here, if I wanted to increase it, I would keep pressing this. This is where when you set up your tone from your mixer, this is where you're going to have to hit that little hash mark. See the hash mark? Right where that arrow's pointing, this arrow here. That's your 0 dB, or -20. You guys still with me?
Yes.
So I pressed audio once, that's all. I'm gonna press audio again. Now it's asking me, where do I wanna get my audio from? This is the little switch that we used to have, say rear, back or front, right? So the front, we have a couple things we gotta look at. Front, we have WL, which is wireless. We don't have a wireless system in here. There's a place for it. We have wireless external. And you guys are able to take those out. If you want to, I will still need to teach you them, okay? But you got wireless, you have the rear, and you have the front, which is up front. So if I want to change this to front, I think I do it like that, yep. So now it's set for the front. Auto or manual level? Manual, right. So that's channel 1, this is channel 2. Pretty easy, you just have to get to the screen to do it. So again, if I wanted this, normally you put stuff, you're gonna plug into the rear here. Yeah, so you got channel 1, channel 2. It kind of simplifies it a little bit. I'm gonna hit audio again. And now this is what you're gonna monitor in your ear. Remember how we have, okay, what are we gonna listen to? Are we listening to channel 1 in both? Channel 1 and 2? Or, like a stereo? So we have channel 1, in both ears. Stereo, 1 in one ear, 1 in the other ear. Channel 2, both of them. Notice when I went to stereo, you can go stereo or you can mix them together, which I don't know why you do. Again, fairly easy with this, right? What am I listening to in my headphones? However, this is your volume still for your headphones. All right. Still with me? Let's see, and then this is the audio. If I go back to audio and put it in, let's put them both in front. Front. Audio again, audio again. Now, you can see both channels are getting this mic here. Okay? Okay. Okay. All right, so that's audio. Now let's go into camera. You gonna be all right?
I'm just struggling to retain this.
She's got it.
A lot of this, so remember the other ones have this little switch here that has like a.
Shade.
No, it's not the shade. This is still here. It has the scene files. It's called scene files, and I said never touch it. Keep it in number 1. Here they're digital things.
That's great.
Keep it in number 1. Don't touch them. You know?
Yeah.
You don't need to do it. That's gonna put a different gamma curve onto your stuff. It's gonna look different. You do all that stuff in post if you want it. Once you record it like that, you can't take it away.
No.
So, again, it shouldn't even do that. Okay, so camera here, what's telling me auto white balance, A channel, so this is on A. B channel, preset P3200, which is what?
What?
Cool.
3200 degrees Kelvin, anyone know yet? Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Nah, this is some science.
Indoor.
Indoor. He's in the lighting class right now.
Oh,
That's right.
come on, bro.
John, where's your information?
Yeah, thought you were in lighting. That's embarrassing.
He's like, no words came out of your mouth.
Yep.
So 3200, we can set that to whatever we want. So, but this is if we flipped it in preset, it's gonna be indoor lighting, even though this is in the 4,000 range.
So if you was outside, I think.
Well, you would take a custom light box,
Yeah.
but we could set it to 5600. We haven't talked about lights, temperatures in here yet, right? Again, there's not much with camera, there's not much you need to know. We're in 60i, so it's 60 in our last 0 dB, we don't have any, if I was putting my gain on it, you can see that all of a sudden the dB changes for my gain. Here's my iris, it's telling me iris is wide open, F2, F4. So it's telling me where my iris is at. This is like, sometimes when you're shooting, it's good if you're gonna be a DP, a director of photography, a camera operator, that you take notes of what your camera is, you know? Just so that you get to know your camera, get to know your lens better this way. There's probably should be a zoom here. Yep, here's my zoom. See my zoom changing?
Oh, is that a Z?
Here's our focus. So if I was gonna focus here, it's saying as MF19. Okay, and this is just the status of the camera. So this really, you don't really have to change much in here, but you might wanna check it to make sure that this isn't done. If we were gonna read one of those files, if someone sent me that SD card, I'd go in here and I would go file, read, execute, load the camera. You guys don't, we won't do that. There's a key lock here in case you wanna lock everything in so you don't bump anything. This is gonna work the same with your thumbnail. So there's nothing in there, but if I hit thumbnail, a thumbnail is gonna come up. What you guys don't see is we don't have an external one on here.
Right.
But we do have,
Nobody else does it.
so here is the
That's the
LCD screen.
I was wondering, where the heck is that?
So it's doubling as your LCD screen is doubling as your viewfinder, but it does flip up.
There's a mirror in there, right?
There's a mirror in here. We do still have this. We still have a diopter for your eye.
Okay.
You know, but a lot of people, once you get things set up, it's much easier to run your camera like this.
Oh, right.
You know.
Does it move at all?
What?
Oh, cool.
Oh, it's great.
Like,
It doesn't swing out,
oh, okay, that's nice.
if that's what you want.
Yeah.
So let me get out of thumbnail. Or what's the thumbnail? We go menu if we had something in there. And we go menu, and then we would go down to, this one's gonna be a little bit different. Give me a second here, I wanna re-familiarize myself with it. Okay. This is different
That's what I'm used to.
to formatting your card, all right? So to format your card, let me just dump out of this,
Interesting.
right? Why even in this fucking class, you know?
T.
So I'm here, I hit my thumbnail, it's up, I'm gonna go to menu.
Mm-hmm.
Now we come down to clip. Remember the other ones we went down to operational.
Wait, so you went to
So
menu,
this
you hit
one's
menu.
clip.
After I hit thumbnail, it brings up the card side, the computer side. So then I hit menu, and I got a few more options than we did before. I have to now go down to clip, select clip, and it'll say format, select format, and then it'll say what slot. So we got 3 slots now, and an SD card. 2 SD cards. For recording, a P2 card for recording, and the information SD card now. Okay? Little different. Are you poking through and checking? Yeah.
Is operation still an option on the first
No.
menu? Okay, good. So it's good. Got it.
So that's a little confusing, but if you hunt in PAC, you probably will find it. What's that?
I thought you gave me a bad look.
No, I didn't give you a bad look.
Okay, cool. Just wondering.
I might have been furrowing my brow because I'm deciding whether I'm gonna kick his ass out of here.
Oh my god, we should all take a vote like in Survivor.
Other than that, this is the same lens, we still have the macro, we still have that back focus, we still have to have that lined up, you know, the arrow with the two lines? Right? This front audio level that I say, you know, don't, hopefully it's disabled, let's hope it still is. Bars and tone. Unfortunately, the tone isn't turned off, I can turn these off though. Let me get out of this, go back to home. Home's the best way to, once you've got everything set up, home is there. Okay? And I have to get out of my thumbnail to have my camera back, and other than that, oh, you know what might be a little different too, is this might be, do we have this many options on the other one? I don't think so.
Girl, I can't see it.
I can't.
Sorry.
No.
Tip up, tilt
Nope.
up,
No.
tilt up.
It's early, Gary.
It's early, says Ray. So there's a few other things, and this just has to do with the viewfinder, okay? I can, here, you know what, if I tilt up a little bit more,
No, I think you should
we'll
tilt
catch.
Down, tilt down.
Down.
And the alarm's right there.
No, you wanna tilt up to catch the light.
Right. Otherwise it'll just create more of a shadow.
You're right. I know.
Gary knows that.
I thought you were.
I swear he also said tilt down. You missed the T.
We're about
Do you
to-
know how to format the card on these?
Well, I just wrote it down in our notes.
Yeah. Yeah, you go into thumbnail and then you.
Figure
I
out.
have to look at it.
There's only one change.
Oh, I like the survivor idea.
I do too. I
The
cast.
current-
Yes.
Gary's gonna have more energy to have the same energy as
Get out of the way
host.
so we can see.
I think the host looks like my dad.
What about?
Ow.
Select.
Oh, is it different?
What would you be? What would you vote? Out or in?
Okay.
Out.
Or, yeah, I gotta get a babysitter.
So here, you know, because we.
I am a babysitter.
So if you have a peek, if you have a peek at Laura,
I gotta drop you off at the
for your-
Format.
God, my family used to do that, and I remember.
So you notice that the slots,
Yeah, select the
slot
button.
one, slot two,
Yeah,
slot three,
select the slide.
slot three is P2. We don't have phones out anymore.
I'm taking my notes, Gary.
Okay, that's good.
Show him your screen.
Show me your notes.
Yep.
Got pictures.
Show everyone your
No,
screen.
it's
or
It got
you
to
can
be
vote it
such a
out.
problem that we had to have a meeting about it.
Oh my, you know what we could do? You know how in Dance Moms at the end she'd have like a pyramid? You should do that with all the students.
Gary would be good at that.
Yeah, I know. Who's at the bottom of the pyramid?
He would be at the top of your pyramid.
So many steps though.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's go back to this. I'll sorry about that. We gotta call Shannon on that. I just wanna make sure she's. So some of you guys should know what peaking is, right? You know what peaking is?
Yeah.
Isn't that when you're
Like
too loud?
all the
like
popular
there's,
kids in my high school did.
Right.
That is peaking, but it's the wrong kind of peaking.
Oh, dang.
Focus.
It's your focus. It has a weird kind of like glow to it on sharp edges. So it's kind of something that lets you know you're in focus. So you can turn up and down the amount of it.
That's an excellent tool.
You know, sometimes it's too annoying, so you might want to just have it. Yes.
Is that the thing that they have on the big old cameras?
The big old camera.
Yes.
Yes. That's exactly what it is.
That was great.
God.
Chroma, that's how much color saturation, because these are color viewfinders. You can saturate the color a little bit, but don't let that fool you. That's not what's being recorded. But though it's recorded in color, we don't switch gammas and stuff. Contrast and brightness, you should all know that. One thing you gotta be careful of, very, very careful of. If someone has the brightness turned down, this is not your lens. This is just a viewfinder. So people will make the mistake of thinking they have to open up and it might be blown out.
Oh, so this is only for the
So
view.
how do you get it to match?
What I do is I put these all at 12 o'clock. You know,
Oh, there's notches on it?
Okay.
well, there's a dot.
Also,
that's gonna be middle way. Really, how you're supposed to know is you turn on color bars. You're gonna refocus there just fine.
Wow, that was a nice one.
Let me get rid of this. I'm going to turn on color bars, turn on our monitor. Okay, so right now I have everything at 12 o'clock. So if I'm like this, it's washed out, right? If I'm like this, it's crushed.
Yeah, the viewfinder.
This is just for the monitor.
Oh.
That's why, you know, a good rule of thumb is just make sure these are at 12 o'clock. Contrast to, you know, contrast is gonna make a big deal. And I'm gonna show you a little trick here a little bit. Chroma, oh, now we're black and white, you know? So some people prefer a black and white viewfinder, cause it's better for looking at focus and stuff. But again, I put it at 12 o'clock, and we're close. And of course, here's our peaking. And let me take off color bars. Let me open up my over here. So peaking, if you look at this, it's got all these dancing lines on there. If I take it away, there's nothing. See? See the difference?
Really?
So that little silvery crap, like the big old camera, is just a preference thing. So if you kind of keep that where it is at 12 o'clock, you're pretty dialed in, okay? As you guys start to get through like engineering school and stuff, or class like that, what you're gonna notice is there's 3 black bars right here. So when you're setting up a camera or color bars, you go by these 3 black bars. You should just barely be able to see the one to the left. That's your blackest of black. It should match with this. And it's a little bit grayer, a little bit grayer. If you do not see them, the 3 differences, that means your color bars are not set up properly. You guys do not have to set up color bars, okay? Not yet. But in case you ever wonder, why does this look funky, or does it look funky, just check those 3. There's a whole nother thing where it's called blue. You turn on the thing, this whole thing becomes blue, and then there's opposite colors here. That like, see how the magenta and this blue, these are exact opposite colors, and you dial those in so that they match perfectly. Another engineering thing. Do not worry about it.
Just call sight.
Okay? One other thing, let's go back over here. This is, again, for your...
Put it on auto.
He was like looking at it too.
I'm gonna tilt down just because it's a little
It's
far.
okay, it's early.
Yeah. If Gary hears that one more time.
There's not a tally for everything.
Okay, so we got a backlight, low, normal, or high. That's just the backlight of your LCD again. How bright is it gonna be? Your zebras, here's your zebras on and off. And then there's a momentary one, if you just wanna hold it down real quick, turn it off, momentary. And then of course there's the old tally light, it turns red when you're recording. A lot of times it's nice to be able to turn off that tally light, because when you're interviewing someone and they see that red light, they kinda get weird, you know, they kinda freak out a little bit.
Me.
You?
Yeah, man.
So, and a lot of times too, when we're trying to get something spontaneous, one second, this guy, is
Spying on
I'll
people.
record and just like, and pretend like I'm not recording, just kinda walk away from my camera and, you know, shoot the shit, but we're still recording. Cause we wanna get something spontaneous, or we also wanna get, you know, whether it's some B-roll, or maybe something kinda shady that people are doing, but you don't want them to bring attention to the camera. If that is, you know, sometimes you have to shoot.
Like if you shooting Trump.
If shoot Trump, yeah, or like some kind of like an accident, tragedy.
Yay.
You know, people they wanna come, hey, turn that camera off, but if they don't think it's wrong. I've also had it where I'm swinging at my camera and like following someone.
Gary.
I've been chased and kicked out, and, you know,
So
almost arrested.
Gotta
a
get
few
that
times.
footage, man.
So at this time, you guys, kind of
Excuse me, we're in class.
done showing you this, but I want you kind of all to go through this, then we'll take a break, we'll move on to lighting.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring this over to you guys.
What's today?
See how I moved it,
You
nice?
ain't got the tally light on.
It's like I told Kevin.
You can drop this down, fine, go through the menus, just like I did. In the
Well,
back,
only
set it up,
cameraman
see where your channel one,
knows.
channel two
You
is.
just know if it's recorded.
Yeah.
You guys can work on this camera.
Well, you'll get the record anyway. on the
Yeah,
LCD.
you'll know it's
It'll
recorded.
turn red
You'll
and
or you'll see your
record.
numbers change.
Yeah.
It just won't be on the tally light.
Right. So go through and look through the menus there and stuff.
It's scary. It is freezing.
Where's your, don't you have a little jacket or something?
For real, like,
Wanna find like a shawl or an old blanket or something?
Right.
So go through that a little bit.
I use one of the crayons.
You like the alarm.
Train there.
It's not, you just gotta go through a lot of steps.
See, it's the buttons, you gotta, like, this stop isn't always stop, you know.
Well, I know.
No, that's for, oh, when this says green and home, that's for playing your clips back.
Mm-hmm,
That's not stopping and starting to record.
right,
This is just when you pull something up.
so it's just knowing those buttons.
Well, see, what I found out was this, like this whole button, that's for step one. That counter
Let me know
button
when you
is for
when you're done.
time, whatever, the reset button. And then like this one here is for that. That's what I was looking at. It's like when he was using those, like right here. Okay, when you go there, that's for that. Now go to this one here, the whole button. Go to the whole button.
So like,
Let them work on that. I know they did.
Set. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just.
There's no F
Let me stop my recorder. I gotta run to the restroom, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break right now. Once you guys
Right
go
now?
through those
Okay.
menus.
Okay, alright, let me just stop this though.
You can take a break too, Shane.
For those